Welcome in all to the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen. I'm just an ordinary gentleman named Danny, who happens to be your host. And welcome back in. I know it's been a minute. To all the people who reached out, I appreciate you checking in on me and seeing how things were coming along. I did graduate with a degree in civil drafting and some specialty certifications and stuff tacked onto that as well. And we're looking for a long-term career in the civil engineering, architectural drafting kind of space. And right now, we're actually doing a little bit of electronics repair and getting some certifications in that. A lot of the smaller firms really like that spice on the resume to have a little bit of that technical background, mostly because they can't really afford to do two separate divisions of IT and technical support to keep your drafting equipment up and running. So a lot of the smaller companies are leaning on you to do those sorts of things. So it adds a little spice to the resume. So that's what we're doing as like a in between kind of job right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy technical stuff. I like making things that aren't working work again, and I like figuring out problems when it comes to tech and gear and gadgets. Speaking of tech gear and gadgets, we have obviously set the studio back up again. It may not be balanced the way that we want yet. The audio may not be as crisp as I would like. The video may be a little muddled for this. I'm going to continue to work on that as I have time. But in other techie things we've got going on for the channel, we have come up with a new system. Since I moved from the house I was staying in into my new place, I kind of needed a new system to track everything as far as my pipe tobacco cellar, the humidor, my whiskey shelves, and the fact that I now have space to brew and we're going to start brewing again. I need to be able to keep up with my fermentation space logs and all of my sciencey stuff that I do while I'm brewing. So I'm tracking a lot of like temperature, gravity points. I like to get into the sciencey side of home brewing. I know it's different. There's like two factions. If you don't homebrew, there's like two factions of homebrewer. There's Meemaw style home brewing or Pawpaw style home brewing that I could think of. You take everything, you mix it up, you put it in a jug, and it'll make wine or it'll make beer, and you will just enjoy that wine or that beer. And then there's the other side of the house, the people like me that read books like Water by John Palmer. So he's getting into the nitty gritty of the type of calcium bicarbonates and like how you want to build your entire water profile to fit the profile of Dublin, Ireland to make an Irish stout. So there's two different factions there, and I'm kind of on the science side of the faction of homebrewing. I like really tracking every little step of the process and really seeing the biochemistry side of it happen is what's neat to me. Of course, I get to enjoy beer or homemade wine at the end of it, but I really have more fun playing home biochem than I do actually enjoying the beer. But people seem to like the wines and stuff, so I'll keep making them because I enjoy making them, and people enjoy trying them when they're over to dinner or things like that. So we will be doing some homebrew related content coming up in the future now that I have space to actually store, ferment, and brew. So we're going to do that. If you guys got ideas or if there's something you want me to do, of course, throw that in the comment section and we'll see if we can't make a replica of something or make a cool, like, historical recipe or something like that as the first one. And then we'll go into doing like stylized beers and things like that. But that is definitely coming up. Speaking of things that are coming up, I said, I've got this new tracking system for my humidor, and I haven't talked much about cigars on the channel, mostly because I'm just now getting into them. We went to an event maybe a month or two back at a place called Spring Street. They just opened a new facility in Jackson, Tennessee, and we traveled into their location and enjoyed their grand opening event. Dadnoff Cigars was one of the key presenters for the event, and I got to enjoy some Davidoff products or some sister products of Davidoff. I think I had an Avo, and I think I had two Avos. I had two different Avos, one that was a lighter variation of the same thing, one that was a darker variation. And they were kind of trying to show me both sides of it. Kind of here's the lighter profile and the darker profile and the same thing, so you could get a really cool like vertical taste out of it. So that was awesome. And the people there were so nice that I ended up with quite a few different cigars to go home with. And that kind of started a whole cigar journey. I needed to figure out how to build a Tupperware, and I got that as like a standby solution so things could sit and wait while I do the research. And I've come up with the kind of storage systems and everything I want to use for my home humidor setup. And it's actually all on order and should be in later on this week. So we'll be doing an unboxing video and a setup, and me, the ordinary gentleman out here trying to figure out how to function these things when you're new to it. So that should be entertaining to watch me succeed or fail miserably. And either way, I hope you enjoy it. So that'll be coming up later on, probably shooting the video later on this week and doing some stuff over the next week. So maybe release next week sometime. So keep an eye out for it. On top of the cigar stuff, we did add, like, I've been slowly like picking up cigars knowing this was going to be coming up. And today we picked up a La Promesa, I believe is how you pronounce it. It means promise. And it's a My Father cigar. I haven't had anything from My Father yet. I haven't enjoyed it. I have in the Tupperware right now, I also have the La Opulencia from My Father. They're both in the petite size. Um, I've been trying to pick up quite a few of like the petite size cigars. I still want to get some of the Ontorios, like the short stories. I want to get some of those, mostly because that 30 to 45 minutes really fills a niche for me. So having a cigar that's a 30 or 45-minute enjoyment time really works out if it's something I'm going to have with a glass of whiskey or a nice beer or something on the back porch after work. It gives me enough time to still have, I can come home, have dinner, and still have the daylight necessary to sit on the back porch, enjoy a whiskey, enjoy a nice 30 or 45-minute cigar, and watch the sun go down, which is what I'm looking for. I've got some stuff that are in like longer format configurations that were gifted to me, and I'm thinking those are going to be like brew days, hanging out next to the smoker, outdoor events when somebody's having something going on at their house, if they're barbecuing or something like that. I figured those will be good to take there. But right now, since I'm picking the things that I'm adding, I'm trying to find a lot of these petites. And also, they're a little less expensive than some of the larger cigars, and that just means I can add more of them and more variety to the humidor immediately. And like I said, cigars are real new to me, so I'm not yet figured out. I know what sort of flavor profiles I enjoy because it doesn't vary much from thing to thing. Like, I like sharp, heavy peated scotch, rye whiskeys, stout beers that are inky, porters with a lot of spice. So I imagine that darker Maduro cigar is going to be where I land, but you know, I like variety and I like finding something from each different style representation that I enjoy on the palate. So I need to find me some good Connecticut's. I gotta find me some stuff like just that all different level. And I'm really excited about it because cigars are new and exciting, I guess. But I'm also still trying to do that with pipe tobacco. I was reminded on St. Patrick's Day why I hate aromatics. I know it's a bold statement, but I hate all aromatics. I don't think there's a good one out there. If you know of a good aromatic, please put that in the comment section because I have not found one that is bearable for me. So if you can help me out, please let me know. Because right now I am of the firm belief that there isn't a good aromatic pipe tobacco on the planet. Prove me wrong. So, other than that, that's pretty much the stuff we've got coming up. Like I said, I mentioned St. Patrick's Day. It was a good time. Uh, we put some ribs in the smoker. I enjoyed some of this Bushmill Irish whiskey. It's a prohibition recipe. The main reason I bought it is because it is produced by order of the Shelby Company Limited, and it's got a nice little drawing of Mr. Thomas Shelby there, and it says Shelby Company Limited, limited edition, the old Bushmills Distilling Company, and the whiskey in it, high end, low tier Irish whiskey, maybe touching middle tier Irish whiskey, at least in my opinion. And if I say middle tier, like just barely middle tier Irish whiskey, in my opinion. But the bottle is really cool, and it was a limited release of a prohibition recipe. So something worth getting, trying, and having the bottle. So we enjoyed some of that Bushmills Irish whiskey. I was reminded why I hate aromatic pipe tobaccos. I got to use the Peterson 313, and we enjoyed ribs and barbecue bacon cheeseburgers out of the smoker and watched Oppenheimer. And I'm sure after quite a few whiskeys that my friends wish I didn't have, I sat around and was pointing out inaccuracies or random fun facts in the back of the movie Oppenheimer. Like I seen a guy in the background playing mangas. I'm like, hey, it's Richard Feynman. But all in all, Oppenheimer fairly accurate to the real events, at least as they surround Oppenheimer, which makes sense because the movie's called Oppenheimer. I was a little upset that they left a few things out because I'm more of a fan of Richard Feynman than I am Oppenheimer. But I would like to have seen him get a little bit more screen time than the few little bloops that they did. But all in all, still a pretty solid movie if you enjoy those sorts of things. So I've probably done enough rambling at this point. We've got a handful of videos that we're slated to make, and I want to start trying to do some live stream stuff now that I have the ability to do live stream stuff. So we're going to look forward to trying to do that sometime in the near future, and I'm going to start building all sorts of cool features for the live stream. So until next time, everybody, I'm Danny from the Society of Ordinary Gentlemen, wishing you well, and we'll see you then.